So today we're going to be harvesting some vitamins, aka some vegetables and herbs for our dehydrator in order to preserve it so it could last up to a year if it's stored properly. And the reason I do this is it's wonderful vitamin and mineral boosters you can add to dishes like stews or pasta dishes as an example. And on top of that, they make wonderful gifts for your family and friends during the holidays. Nothing says I love you like some pesticide-free food grown from compost that I created. So I know exactly what's in that soil and I know they're getting healthy food without any chemicals. So I keep trying to remind myself to buy a stinking basket so I can harvest my vegetables, but this bag will have to suffice. I'm getting a lot today anyways, so let's get at it. We're gonna start by getting some of these cabbage leaves. I haven't dehydrated them before. I suspect they'll dehydrate well, just like the kale and rainbow chard, which I've already done. But this is essentially a vitamin and mineral booster that you can add to your food. And that's what we're doing here today. So let's get some of these bottom leaves here that are near the soil. All right. Looking good with those two. I mean, that's enough for probably 2 to 3 trays already. This is proof I've been neglecting proper trimming for a little while. And that's what happens when the leaves are touching the soil. And that kind of rot can spread to the rest of the plants. So I should probably be out here a little more often trimming this up. Wasn't gonna trim that one, but I broke it when I was trying to get to another leaf. And you may as well trim that off if you do that, because once again, that's another way for rot to spread throughout your plant. I think that's gonna be enough of the cabbage from now. That's crazy, just from one cabbage plant, it's enough to fill 3 racks in the dehydrator probably. So I'm gonna be harvesting the bulk of my rainbow chard and kale because I recently discovered that I can dehydrate them. And you can keep the texture and the color while dehydrating it if you blanch them, apparently. So I'll be attempting to do it in 2 different methods, some without blanching them and some with blanching them. And so I guess I better get busy because I want these to grow back in time to take some to the family for Thanksgiving. So first, we gotta rinse off these veggies. Odin's ready to do something, aren't you? You ready to have fun? So this is Brussels sprouts right here. And I wanted to show everyone why you don't want to trim too many leaves off of your Brussels sprouts, because they actually grow, each one of these is going to grow side shoots, and you'll get some more Brussels sprouts from there as well as from the top of the plant. And so you only want to take a couple leaves off the bottom, like this one for example, touching the soil anyways. Example of a Brussels sprout leaf touching the soil. Once again, just pointing out that's why you need to trim fairly often. You don't really want this happening. If it's touching the rest of the plant, that rot can spread. And so I just took 2 leaves, and this one has bugs on it. Hard to see those little guys, and that's because it was touching the soil. So they're going to town eating that. Don't want that in my food or my dehydrator. It's for the compost pile. So just got 1 leaf off of that Brussels sprout plant. Okay, so next we're gonna get some of these beets back here. There's some beet leaves, and then some parsley and some thyme, all of which I can trim back, and let's go after it. Aren't the leaves of beets absolutely stunning? Just beautiful in a salad, wonderful. Has vitamins A, C, and K. And my sister, I think, was saying saute them with some mushrooms. It's really tasty. Haven't tried that out yet. Oh, delicate. Oof. Got some parsley here. And I gotta tell you, this sucker produces a lot. I already have enough almost to last myself a year. And so the next goal is to get some for my little sister and my parents. And I probably will have enough to give them some on Christmas. That's what I'm hoping. Ooh, it smells so good. Whew. I'm a fan of the smell of parsley, no joke. So thyme has great medicinal benefits and health benefits, vitamins and minerals, but it grows pretty slowly here at least. I don't know about other zones. And one thing that's interesting is you actually can use the stems. You want to dice it up, obviously, except with the exception of this brown section here. You don't obviously want to use that. And so I won't be putting that in my dehydrator, but everything else is fine in the dehydrator, really. So, one negative aspect of harvesting thyme is it becomes interwoven with each other. So you might snip off a section and then find out all the rest of this is all wrapped up and intertwined in a section that you did not want to harvest. So it takes some time to harvest thyme. And in my opinion, thyme is our most valuable resource. Another thing that produces pretty well is oregano. And oregano and parsley produce the most for me so far. And so let's get some of this for the dehydrator. Oregano doesn't have that potent of a smell to me as the other ones I have. I don't know, or maybe my sense of smell is just messed up, or that maybe this is not a very potent oregano. So basil is the next plant that I'm going to be harvesting for the dehydrator, and it grows a little faster than the thyme, but it grows significantly slower than my parsley and oregano. I'd be interested in if anyone else is growing these herbs, if you have a similar experience. Just because it grows so slowly, this is all the basil that I'm going to be getting for this dehydrator session. Now we're going to be getting some of this beautiful rainbow chard and probably a little bit more kale just to make sure I can fill up the dehydrator. So I don't know if everyone will have the same experience depending on what zone you live in. You might not be able to grow kale, but this is a hardy plant that's pretty easy to grow and it reproduces quite quickly. I eat salad 5 days a week and I still have plenty left over to dehydrate. People grow much larger broccoli heads than this. However, that slight hint of yellow coloration is an indication this broccoli has actually been on the plant too long and it's about to flower. So it's time to take this broccoli off. And this is more if you are growing outdoors. I'm in a greenhouse, but still a good idea to cut at roughly a 45-degree angle. And then that way, when it rains, it's not collecting a bunch of moisture in the stalk of the plant, which could lead to rot. And your broccoli plant is actually not done producing after you remove that, because it will start to grow some side shoots, and there's one starting right there. First broccoli I've ever grown, y'all. So I'm gonna have to trim off this stem because that side shoot is growing directly into it, and it will reduce the size of that broccoli head that's growing off of the side shoot there. All of that just from one plant. This is on the sunnier side of the greenhouse. The other one over there, the leaves look nothing like this. The one that I have back in the corner that gets the least amount of sunlight. Plus, it's kind of getting blocked out by some Brussels sprout leaves, to be honest. Things are too crowded in here. But dang, that is wild. I can still get more off that plant, too. Now it's time for some rainbow chard. Absolutely great in salads. It's just a beautiful green leaf full of vitamins A, C, and K. And they also make good lettuce wraps once they get a little larger. Look at the size of these leaves. Cabbage leaves are edible. They make wonderful lettuce wraps. They're good in salads mixed in with other greens. That being said, sometimes my greenhouse produces more than I can actually eat, and I don't like anything going to waste, so I dehydrate it, which can be stored up to a year, to add as mineral and vitamin boosters to other meals, or I could add that entire jar to a lasagna dish. Cabbage is highly nutritious, rich in vitamin C, fiber, and vitamin K. Some research suggests that it improves digestion and heart health. It can also help with inflammation, and it has antioxidants which benefit your immune system. In some instances, it can lower your blood pressure and cholesterol. While it may look similar to lettuce, it actually belongs to the Brassica genus of vegetables that include broccoli, radishes, and Brussels sprouts. In just 89 grams of green cabbage, it contains 22 calories, 1 gram of protein, 2 grams of fiber, 56% of your daily value of vitamin K, 36% of your daily value of vitamin C. So I'm in the greenhouse near sunset to harvest some untraditional salad greens. If you go broccoli, you might not know this, but you can harvest the leaves for your salads as well. It's important you don't take off too many leaves from your broccoli because they can grow side shoots, which produces more broccoli. You can do the same with these Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts also grow side shoots, as well as this cabbage. You can even harvest the leaves of these beets. Broccoli leaves, Brussels sprout leaves, cabbage leaves, and the leaves of beets all contain vitamins A, C, and K, along with other vitamins and minerals that are beneficial for your overall health. I also added kale, rainbow chard, and fire lettuce. What? Look at the size of this thing. Now that is some rainbow chard. Solid for lettuce wraps right there.